The word for today is 6-speed manual, aka stick shifts. So yeah, you see what the comments say. He say these youngins just don't know. The young generation have absolutely no idea. They just don't know how things used to be about 10 to 15 years ago. See, back in the days, if you wanted a high performance sports car, they came in manual only. There was no cheat code. So that means you had to get off your lazy behind, be a man, and go learn how to drive a manual transmission. There was no cheat code, there was no way around it. The Cadillac CTS-V1 came with two engine options, the LS6 and the LS2, but it only came 6-speed manual. But this is why the V1 is the godfather. LS6, LS2, manual on the transmission. And I'm gonna say this, y'all might disagree with me, but I'm gonna say this. I feel like the Blackwing should have been manual only. I feel like Cadillac should have went back to the roots of the CTS V1, manual only. The V2 was automatic and manual. The V3 was automatic only. I feel like the Blackwing should have went back to the manual only. Now the thing about the Blackwing is they come from the factory manual only. You have to order the 10-speed auto. The SRT Viper. I am so glad the Viper is manual only because all these Hellcat and Scat Pack guys, you don't have to worry about them trashing and tearing up the Viper like they do the Chargers and the Challengers. C601. I'm glad the C601 was manual only because the automatic 01 is blasphemy. The C706 guys, y'all carried the C7 Corvettes. I'll give y'all that. The C701 did absolutely nothing for the C7 Corvettes, but the Z06 being automatic is still an abomination. It's absolutely disgusting. Z06s should be manual only. C5 Z06, this was during the grown man era of the General Motors run. Had to be a grown man to drive this. If you wanted the automatic Corvette, you went and got a base model C5. The Z06 was for the grown men. The Chevy GT350. I'm glad all you coyote boys flopped to the Mustang. Leave the GT350 to the grown men and the real drivers. 5th Gen Z28. There was absolutely no cheat code for the LS7. You had to get either the Z28 or the Z06. But either way it go, you had to man up and learn how to operate that manual transmission if you wanted that big boy LS7. Last but not least, the LS3 Camaro. If you wanted that big boy LS3, you had to get the manual version. I'm glad the LS3 came manual on it. If you want an automatic LS3, go get a Chevy SS or a G8 GXP or a base model C6 Corvette. And just because you do an LS3 conversion on the L99, it's still an L99. It wasn't an LS3 from the factory. I just had to be petty and say that. Your L99 is still an L99. It's not an LS3. So my guy said if you wanted that track package for the 5th Gen Camaro, SS1LE manual only. This is also why the 5th Gen Camaros had more aura than the 6th Gen Camaros. See, the 5th Gen Camaro was broken down into two baselines. You had the L99 for the automatic. You wanted the LS3 on the 5th Gen Camaro, it had to be a manual. There was no way around that. Yes, you could do a LS3 conversion on the L99, but at the end of the day, it's still a L99. Now, when it comes to the SS1LE trim, the SS1LE trim was basically a Z28 before the Z28 actually came out. The 5th Gen SS1LE was an absolute problem on the track. Now, with the 6th Gen 1LE, the 6th Gen 1LE was a step above. It was definitely an upgrade. In fact, the 6th Gen SS1LE was a few seconds faster than the Z28s. But at the end of the day, the Z28 is still the Z28. So 6th Gen SS1LE, manual on it. It stuck to the roots and the origins of the 5th Gen SS1LE as being a bona fide track-focused Camaro SS. Now, GM completely threw all that out the window with the refreshed 6th Gen Camaros. Once the SS1LE got an automatic option, all that went out the window. They completely broke the rules of engagement by making the 1LE an automatic car. Now the same thing applies for the ZL1 1LE. ZL1 1LEs absolutely broke the rules of engagement by going from manual only to 10-speed automatic. So mind you, the ZL1 1LE Camaro, they set all those track records was a 6-speed manual. I don't know if y'all know this or not, but the 6-speed manual ZL1 1LE is absolutely more superior on the track than the automatic version. Again, the manual version is the one that set all the track records. So with this car becoming an automatic, it absolutely went against the rules of engagement, absolutely killed everything that the ZL1 worked hard for. The regular standard ZL1 should be 10-speed automatic with the manual option, but the ZL1 1LE absolutely should have stayed manual only. See, this is why the 5th gen Camaro was the GOAT, because GM had the mindset of, if you want this LS3 engine, you go shift these gears, you go work forwards. If you want an automatic, cool, go get the L99. 6th gen Camaro should have been the same way. The LT1 should have been manual only, and GM should have offered the automatic variant for the 6th gen Camaros as well. This is why the 5th gen remains on top. The 1LE stayed manual, never switched to automatic like the 6th gen, and the Z28 stayed manual, never switched to automatic like the ZL1 did.